Moving forward to item 14, development of plans and specifications for a second groundwater well installation.
I just want to say thank you to Christy.
Oh, thank you. Keep going.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, this next item is a second groundwater well, a professional services agreement with West Yost of Davis, California. Public Works was fortunate enough to get a United States Bureau of Reclamation grant in the amount of $750,000 for the installation of a second groundwater extraction well at the water treatment plant, which could not come at a better time than to be in the midst of another recent drought. As part of the process, the environmental review has been completed in terms of state and federal level. And because of the drought, we are trying to really push this schedule forward. You can tell that William Zhao of the office created this presentation as he used the word assiduously. That is not typically a word I would use, and I greatly appreciate him trying to step up my presentation game with this. So on June 15th, the city issued requests for proposals. We did have 5 consultants that attended a mandatory pre-proposal meeting, and we also received 5 proposals. And the magic number 5, there was 5 criteria to evaluate the proposals on. So with that, West Yost and Associates of Davis was ranked as the top-ranked proposal. West Yost has some experience with doing some initial work for determining the feasibility of aquifer storage recovery at the water treatment plant. So they had a lot of knowledge. They had previously done some test wells, and their previous knowledge as well as their experience within this area put them above these other great consultants. And so staff recommended to move forward with West Yost. The scope of work includes the design as well as preparing the contract documents and then providing hydrogeologic services during well construction and well equipping. In addition, we asked them to provide a proposal for construction management and inspection services. We have so many projects going on in engineering right now. With adding in the private development, our construction inspector is very busy. And so West Yost will be providing us an optional proposal, should we need it, that they would provide the construction management inspection services at the time that we actually go to build, but that's something that we can address at a later date. So the fiscal impact is that Public Works staff recommends authorizing development of the design. The total cost of tasks 1 through 6 equates to $572,498, and there is sufficient funding in the account to move forward. Alternatives are to direct staff to further evaluate the proposals, issue another request for proposals, or reject the submittals and postpone design services. We don't recommend any of these alternatives. We recommend to move forward with the awarding a professional services contract to West Yost and Associates in the amount of $572,498, and then authorize the city manager to execute the contract. And with that, I'd be happy to answer questions.
Any questions? Yes.
Through the mayor. Thank you, Diana. Excellent job, as usual. So this is going to be a second well that will access the same aquifer as the first well?
That'll be to be determined. It most likely will, because that aquifer is very deep, number one. But we have to really analyze the water quality to make sure that that's the best aquifer to move into. The other thing is that we're looking long-term, how do we convert this well to aquifer storage recovery, where we could use it to inject water into the aquifer and then withdraw it from the aquifer. This aquifer that we're looking at right now is the most stable in terms of it doesn't move. And so you're not worried about, I inject the water in December and then it's 3 miles downstream when I go to pull it out in June. It's very stable. There are some water quality issues that we have to work through to determine if any additional kind of pre-treatment's required. And so most likely it will be within the general area of the aquifer of our existing well, but they're also spaced apart. So they're not right next to each other.
So the first well does not have the ability to inject?
No.
Okay. And this is all under the confines of the facility over there on Northgate?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay. Public comment?
Sorry about that. I didn't know that you were going to be considering West Yost. So a year ago, I guess, 1920 grand jury report actually mentions West Yost with Live Oak. I don't have anything against them. The comment that I would make is, and the main problem in the situation, as noted in the grand jury report, was that the city was not doing its due diligence and ensuring that the projects, which was a well, were being tracked and making sure that the progress was continuing. And basically what happened was, and it wasn't just West Yost, I believe there's another company that's involved as well, they're both mentioned in the grand jury report, that because of the delays and the situation that had occurred, and there was some miscalculations according to the report, that the cost then had exploded, basically, and they had, I think, a 20% or more that they had to pay to try to continue the project. The well is still not finished, as far as I think somebody that I know had actually looked into that. It still is not done, and they have been working on that now for, I think, 17 years from the beginning of the conception to what they're doing right now, not necessarily these people. So my comment is basically, and it's nothing against you, but maybe if you can keep this in the back of your mind, that when dealing with basically any company, but at least with this group, if could have been a different person at this group, to please make sure that you're keeping a good eye on what they're doing, if that makes sense, and keeping them within the time frame. And I'm sure that Ms. Langley can, I don't know if she's specifically, but she had mentioned that they didn't have a lot of time to do some of the elements of this, so they're going to try and give some parts of that over to West Yost. So I still think that it would be important for you to have some sort of control to make sure that the project doesn't get kind of delayed and then tends to get more expensive, because that's just waste of taxpayer money. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate the concern, and definitely keep our eyes open. I do know that having worked alongside Ms. Langley, and now again with her, that her and her staff, in my opinion at least, are very diligent about minding their contracts. So, but it's duly noted that you have relayed some experiences that haven't been so favorable. So we will keep our eyes open. Well, thank you. Gotcha. Any other questions online? Comments?
No public comment.
Okay, back to the council.
Through the mayor, I just want to, before making the motion, to say that I met with Joe, right? And what a great person on our team. He and I met for an hour and had a discussion about water and ground wells and aquifer and the whole process. And the energy that this assistant engineer brings to our city is really positive. And I left that meeting, felt like, wow, this is a complete circle of what we asked for community in our community. And meaning that this young person, because he's younger than me, I can say that, went to our schools here and graduated in our high school and went to UC Davis and made the decision to come back and work for the city to do some service for the community. And if any of you ever have the chance to sit down with him, you would just walk out of there thinking water is like the best thing to figure out, to solve and fix. But this well is going to be extremely, extremely important in our community. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to meet him. And so you have an awesome team, Diana. Thank you so much.
See, all of our engineers are rock stars.
They are, actually, they are.
Assiduously.
Assiduously.
So I move that to award the professional agreement, award a professional services agreement to West Yost Associates, Inc., with the notification that we were given here early, of Davis, California, in the amount of $572,498 for development of plans and specifications for the ground well and genetics services and other services in preparation for and during the construction of the new potable groundwater well. And then authorize the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city, subject to review and approval as to the legal form by the city attorney, who is awesome too.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilperson Espandola, a second by Vice Mayor Shaw. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes unanimously.